What if the royal fairy tale you thought you knew was nothing but smoke and mirrors?
This scandal comes as no surprise. Speculation about the children has been simmering for years.
Meghan Markle's picture-perfect life as a duchess, wife, and mother has always been painted as a modern story of resilience. But now, shocking new claims threaten to rip that story apart.
It's just got a whole load worse for Meghan Markle because her sister Samantha ain't going anywhere.
Her sister Samantha has unleashed accusations that Meghan erased her own family from history, and a mysterious woman has stepped forward with receipts that could unravel the very foundation of the monarchy.
I do believe because there are no delivery certificates.
Stay tuned, because this isn't just gossip. It's a potential constitutional storm. Samantha Markle's strike.
People think her kids are fake. They think they're AI.
Samantha Markle didn't just step into the spotlight, she lit it on fire. Her claims go far beyond sibling rivalry. She paints Meghan as someone who deliberately rewrote her own past, stripping away inconvenient family ties to construct an image polished enough for royal life. Samantha points to Meghan's statement about being an only child as proof of this reinvention, insisting it wasn't a slip, but a carefully planned move. In Samantha's version of events, Meghan didn't climb into royalty through sheer determination. She staged it with precision, cutting out anything that didn't fit the narrative. From their father, who was publicly portrayed as absent, to siblings who were reduced to shadows, Samantha argues that Meghan's story was never about truth, but about control. What makes this so explosive is how it reframes Meghan's rise. Instead of a triumph of individuality, Samantha suggests it was a script written to perfection. Every magazine feature, every stage-managed charity appearance, and every media moment wasn't just image management, it was image construction. For critics, Samantha's words ignite the suspicion that Meghan's entire persona may not just be exaggerated, but manufactured. The surrogate bombshell. If Samantha's accusations cracked Meghan's narrative, DL's claims threatened to blow it wide open.
This scandal comes as no surprise. Speculation about the children has been simmering for years.
DL, a woman shrouded in mystery but armed with documents, insists she was the real surrogate behind Meghan's pregnancies. Unlike rumor mongers, DL came forward with specifics: medical paperwork, hospital records, and hints of confidentiality agreements that kept her silent for years. Her story describes a stark contrast. While Meghan appeared before cameras with glowing bump photos and public outings, DL says she was the one living in isolation, carrying the future heirs in complete secrecy. According to her, promises of privacy and fair compensation dissolved into betrayal, leaving her erased from history, while Meghan performed the role of expectant mother in front of flashing cameras. What sets DL's account apart is the level of vivid detail. She recalls recruitment meetings in California, contracts signed behind closed doors, and the emotional weight of being hidden from the story. She even speaks of the toll it took on her health, both physical and emotional, after being excluded from the very narrative she says she helped make possible. For royal watchers, this isn't just another scandal. If DL's claims even partially hold weight, they don't just challenge Meghan's credibility, they raise questions about the legitimacy of the royal succession itself. That's why this revelation isn't being treated like tabloid chatter. It's a potential constitutional tremor that could ripple through the monarchy for years to come. Breaking royal tradition. Royal births have always been steeped in tradition and transparency. Princess Diana carried her newborn sons out of St. Mary's Hospital for the world to see, and Kate Middleton repeated the ritual with all 3 of her children. These appearances weren't just photo ops, they were proof of legitimacy, reinforcing trust in the royal line. Meghan, however, chose a different path. There were no hospital steps, no clear medical confirmations, and no public record of where the births happened.
As she visited the Royal Variety Residential Nursing and Care Home, Brinsworth House.
What she called privacy, critics viewed as deliberate secrecy. The absence of tradition created a gap that speculation quickly filled. Inconsistent photos and shifting timelines only added to the doubts. Instead of the continuity people expected, Meghan's approach sparked questions. Why avoid a moment every royal mother before her embraced? For many, this wasn't just modern independence. It was a break from centuries-old rituals that protect the monarchy's credibility. And in a family where image and transparency are everything, even small breaks from tradition can ignite suspicions that never die down. The silence that speaks volumes. When faced with allegations of this explosive, most public figures rush to respond. A short statement, a press conference, even a carefully worded denial could have put the rumors to rest. Yet Meghan and Harry chose a very different strategy: silence. Reports suggest their legal team moved quickly, sending warning letters to outlets that dared to amplify the claims. But observers pointed out what those letters lacked: any direct denial. The couple never once came forward with proof to shut the story down, and that's where the damage deepened. For a pair who built their image on openness, telling their side of the story through high-profile interviews and documentaries, the refusal to address the issue seemed contradictory. Silence, once seen as dignity, began to look like evasion. Each day without answers allowed speculation to grow louder. In the eyes of critics, the lack of transparency wasn't a strategy. It was an admission, because in the world of modern media, silence doesn't protect reputations, it erodes them. And for Meghan and Harry, their refusal to confront the claims head-on turned a family drama into a credibility crisis that now threatens their legacy. DL's explosive testimony.
So all of the pictures, my point is, out there were inconsistent with the idea of a real pregnancy.
Like, why lie? It was just so truly bizarre.
DL's story is what transformed whispers into a full-blown scandal. Unlike vague gossip, her testimony is filled with striking details that are difficult to dismiss. She claims she was recruited in California, signed confidential contracts, and then placed into isolation for months, while carrying the children who would be celebrated as heirs to the monarchy. Her account goes far beyond speculation. DL describes the loneliness of living in secrecy, while Meghan smiled for cameras, presenting herself as the glowing mother-to-be. She speaks of the toll it took on her health, the postpartum complications she faced, and the mounting medical bills that were allegedly brushed aside once her role was complete. According to her, promises of privacy and fair compensation dissolved into betrayal and silence. This isn't the language of rumor, it's the voice of someone who says she was part of a system designed to erase her from history.
Silence everybody and just produce a DNA sample.
DL even claims she has hospital records, financial documents, and other receipts that could back up her story. For many, this level of detail shifts her testimony from tabloid chatter to something far more dangerous: a version of events that directly threatens the credibility of Meghan's most powerful image, her role as a mother. And that's why DL's words carry such weight. If even fragments of her claims are true, Meghan didn't just reshape her own narrative, she may have undermined the very traditions the monarchy depends on. The PR nightmare. For years, Meghan and Harry's strongest weapon has been their mastery of public image. From blockbuster interviews to glossy documentaries, they've shaped their story as rebels rewriting royal rules. But this scandal flipped the script. Every past media moment is now being rewatched through a different lens, and what once looked like empowerment now feels like a carefully rehearsed performance. PR experts warn that silence paired with legal threats doesn't rebuild trust, it destroys it. Instead of closing the book on the controversy, the Sussexes may have accidentally added more chapters. Each unanswered claim makes DL's testimony sound more believable, and each refusal to deny it outright makes Samantha's accusations seem less like sibling rivalry and more like revelation. The irony is sharp. The couple who branded themselves as truth-tellers are now accused of hiding the very thing they promised to protect: authenticity. And in a digital world where stories spread faster than any legal notice, no amount of polished PR can put out a fire that grows bigger with every unanswered question. Constitutional shockwaves. This story isn't just about Meghan and Harry's image anymore. It strikes at the heart of the monarchy itself. Royal succession isn't built on PR spin or personal storytelling. It's built on centuries of transparency, lineage, and proof. Every royal birth is expected to be beyond dispute, witnessed and documented to prevent even the faintest whisper of illegitimacy. DL's claims disrupt that foundation. If a surrogate was indeed involved but never acknowledged, critics argue it could throw centuries-old succession laws into chaos. For the monarchy, this isn't just a question of personal privacy. It's a potential constitutional emergency. Who carries the heirs matters, and tradition demands clarity. Imagine the implications. Two innocent children, Archie and Lilibet, caught at the center of a storm they never created. Their very place in history could be questioned, not because of who they are, but because of how their story was allegedly hidden. Experts warn this is the kind of controversy that doesn't just fade away, it leaves cracks in the crown itself. And in an institution built on continuity, even a hairline crack can grow into a fracture that shakes the monarchy's future. The fallout. As these allegations spread, the impact on Meghan and Harry's carefully built brand has been brutal. Polls and public opinion show a shift. Where once they were seen as champions of truth, more people are now starting to believe DL's version of events. Supporters are struggling to defend them, while critics grow louder by the day. Behind the scenes, insiders describe a couple under immense pressure. The image of a united, unstoppable duo has given way to whispers of tension, with Meghan and Harry appearing more like business partners clinging to a faltering empire than a fairy tale couple. Every past project, from Oprah's interview to the Netflix docuseries, is now being replayed with suspicion, reframed as part of a narrative designed to protect them, not reveal them. And Samantha Markle hasn't wasted a moment. For her, this is vindication. She insists Meghan's downfall isn't karma, but exposure, the unraveling of a story she believes was scripted from the beginning. What was once a family feud is now framed as the collapse of an entire illusion. And with each passing day of silence, the cracks in Meghan and Harry's public image grow deeper, leaving their future reputation hanging by a thread. And so we arrive at the most haunting part of this saga, the silence. Samantha's accusations, DL's shocking testimony, and the mounting questions from the public have all collided into a storm that refuses to fade. Meghan and Harry, once praised for their openness, now stand accused of hiding behind legal threats instead of truth. What began as whispers of family drama has escalated into something much bigger, a story that could shake the very foundation of the monarchy. The Duchess, who promised to modernize royal tradition, now finds herself accused of authoring one of the greatest illusions in royal history. And every day without answers only makes the silence louder. Because here's the reality: when people refuse to deny, when evidence is hinted at but never disproved, suspicion becomes the verdict. Meghan and Harry's story is no longer theirs to control. It's in the hands of the public, the critics, and history itself. The question isn't whether the truth will come out, it's when. And when it does, the fallout could redefine not just Meghan's legacy, but the monarchy's future. Until then, the silence speaks for them. If you want to stay updated on the next shocking twist in this unfolding royal drama, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next.